Everybody don't know me.
Where he at? That guy right there. Who's that?
Everybody don't know me.
They know you now. You're a household name. All right, let's get this party started. I call this meeting to order. The Wednesday, April 10th, Chester City Council meeting. As always, we open up in prayer. And today, we have a visitor. We have Pastor Randy Freeman from the North Chester Baptist Church. Come on up, sir. Let's all rise.
Let's pray. Father, Lord, we come to you tonight, just giving you the praise and the glory for who you are. You're an awesome God. And Lord, I do thank you that we can come and start this meeting by coming before the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. I thank you, Lord, that we can celebrate tonight even the resurrection of Jesus Christ, which we just celebrated a couple weeks ago. And Lord, we ask tonight that, Lord, you would give great wisdom to our elected officers here in this room. That, Lord, as business is taken care of, that, Lord, they would seek your face, because we know that true wisdom comes from the fear of the Lord. Lord, I do thank you that, Lord, you tell us that the rulers are appointed by you for our good. And Lord, I just uplift these men and women. I ask, Lord, that you would guide them, direct them, minister to them, enable them to seek your face as they lead this great city. Lord, we just commit all things tonight before you, that, Lord, we would find unity, we would find a spirit of grace that works through this room. We just thank you in Christ Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Councilors Gibson. Present. Green.
Present.
West.
Present.
Davis.
Present.
Mayor Roots.
Present. This would be the time that you would come up and make public comments on agenda items only.
What do you need from me?
Thank you.
Just my name? I said, what do you want? Just my name?
Name and address. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. Livia Smith, 930 East 18th Street. Just a question. I looked on the website for the agenda. I didn't see anything. Did y'all have a technical difficulty?
You know I don't like answering questions, but that's an important one, and it's a valid one, and it's a timely one. A little bit of technical, a little bit of personal, a little bit of functional. We should have that agenda on the website as early as Friday. If you saw us huddled up here before the meeting, that's really what we were talking about, the absence of the agenda, and we're going to take care of that. We apologize to everybody who may have looked online for the agenda. It wasn't there. That's not going to happen again.
Okay,
Thank you, though.
thank you.
Any others? It's a little tough to have questions on agenda items only if you didn't see the agenda, right? So thank you for that question. I was hoping somebody would bring it up. And as we continue to flip, we're going to blast through some areas that we normally would handle, like contract approvals, communications, minutes, because there are none. But old business, I am not going to allow us to move forward without the opportunity of council and myself to bring up old business. Is there anything from anyone? Well, then I'll bring up old business. Mr. Solicitor, this is the time that you and I have to make some decisions. I wrote a few notes here. Just curious if you'll take up the issue of violation of city charter regarding our two council members who are serving on the Stormwater Authority Board. As you know, as mayor, it's my responsibility to operate the city according to all applicable ordinances, policies, codes, and city charter. And as the solicitor, we count on you, because one of your most important duties is to advise us to comply with the ordinances, policies, codes, and city charter to the extent that when we're not in compliance, we need you to let us know. There's no question that you're aware of Section 203 of the charter that states, and I'll read it, Section 203, prohibitions of council. No council member shall, during the terms of office of the council member, hold any other compensated position in the city of Chester government. To your credit, from what I was told, you informed each member of this council who are in violation of Section 203 that their paid positions as Chester Stormwater Authority board members puts them in direct violation of the city charter, which we all swear to uphold by putting our hand on the Bible and taking that oath. On February 22nd of this year, I was forwarded Councilwoman West's resignation email from the Chester Stormwater Authority dated February 21st that she sent to the chairperson of the Stormwater Board. They copied yourself and Steve Hahn. Rumor has it Councilman Green resigned as well, but I never received or was forwarded his resignation letter. Obviously, this satisfies that the charter's in violation, and it led me to post that there's vacancies on the board, of which I've received, I think, as many as four applications to replace members on the board. Then I also heard by word of mouth that both council persons, the one on my left and right, are back on the Stormwater Board. So I want to settle this matter tonight because we really need a clear path forward to conduct business as a body of mayor and council in accordance to the city charter. So the questions I have is, can these two individuals remain in their capacity as city council persons while they're in violation of the city charter? Can they take part in any portion of city council meetings? Can they vote? Does their vote count on matters brought before city council? Should we even continue this meeting with these violations of the charter? And as the charter reads, to not be in violation, they need to be a Stormwater Authority board member or a Chester City Council person. I believe that needs to be decided before we can even move on tonight.
Mayor, can I see that charter that you just,
I have copies for everyone. Pass them down.
because there's an important line I want to read in here. It says,
Pass
no
it there.
council member shall during the term of office of city council member hold another compensated position in the city of Chester government, period. Chester Stormwater Authority is not the city of Chester government.
All right, so thank you for that. Mr. Solicitor.
So, as you know, I have rendered an opinion on this
So let's tell everybody what your opinion is.
based upon,
Talking to the mic, please, so everybody can hear.
based upon my research. My recommendation was that council members should not sit on a paying board. And I rendered that opinion, and my understanding was that the council members that, unbeknownst to them, that was perhaps not proper, had resigned. And I am learning for the first time tonight that they may be back on the board. I have no knowledge of that. I do understand that at the last meeting, Dr. Strand cited law which he feels supersedes the law that I cited. But this is the first I'm learning of anyone being on the board. I do not believe that that violation would preclude them from being a council person, but I think that there could, if I'm correct, be sanctions.
All right, so since you're just hearing tonight and I'm hearing by word of mouth, let's hear from both council persons. Are you on the Stormwater Board or not?
Yes, I am.
Yes, I am.
Okay, so now we have confirmed they're on the board.
So what I'll do, Mayor, is I will revisit my research. I will take a look at what Dr. Strand sent.
You commented on Dr. Strand, what he
Yeah.
sent, and you said it applied to boroughs.
That was my cursory reading at that meeting. I will research it further to make sure I'm absolutely certain.
It stated that 3 times in that state. I have a copy, but how should we proceed tonight? Should they have a seat and we proceed? We do have a
I
quorum.
believe they're entitled to be seated, absolutely. I do not believe.
Seated here or seated there?
Seated here. I can't, I stand by my opinion at this point without further research as to whether it's proper to be on both. I do not believe that would preclude them in any event. I believe that that would be a potential matter of sanctions, which I cautioned at that time when I rendered my opinion.
Any other council persons have comments on this?
A council person can only be removed for a high crime or misdemeanor or impeachment by the governor or Senate. There's no other reason to remove a council person.
Well, I'm not saying remove from council, but remove from doing business as a council person while they're in conflict of the charter.
I believe that would be that would effectively be removing them, which there's only one way to do, as I just indicated. So I do not believe they could or should be removed, but I stand by my opinion at this point without further research, which I'll do tonight.
Okay, thank you.
And let me state that the charter does not clearly states that a member of city council cannot be on a paid board. What it says is that you cannot work for Chester city government. Chester Stormwater Authority is its own entity and not Chester city government. And the lawyers at the Chester Stormwater Authority, they did their research as well, and they believe that we can still be on the board, and so therefore, we're still on the board. And you can clearly read this one line in this charter that says, work for city government.
Well, we're not going to go to trial here today. Thank you for your opinion. I'll read it one more time before we close this out. No council member shall, during the terms of office of the council member, hold any other compensated position in the city of Chester government.
Period.
That is a period. That is absolutely a period. There is a second sentence here. I can't imagine there being any other compensated position in this city government. And as you guys may be aware, all the authorities of the city were birthed from city government. So they are, in effect, functions of city government. Let's name a few of them. There's the Chester Stormwater Authority. I should put the quiz out to you guys. Can you name the 5? Chester Housing Authority, Chester Economic Development Authority. Can I name the 5? Chester Water Authority, thank you. One more.
And that's why I rendered my opinion.
Oh, Redevelopment Authority, Chester Redevelopment Authority. There we go. I think I got them all. All right, well, be looking forward to hearing what you come up with. Let's keep it moving. It's, we have no ordinances today. Madam Clerk.
Resolution, Act 32, Section 505B, requires the governing bodies of school districts, townships, boroughs, and cities that impose an earned income tax to appoint one voting delegate and one or more alternate delegates to be their Tax Collection Committee, TCC, representatives. The purpose of this resolution is to appoint the required delegates. The appointed individuals have consented to the appointment. Resolved by the Council of City of Chester, Delaware County, Pennsylvania, that the following individuals are appointed as TCC delegates for the City of Chester, Delaware County, Pennsylvania. Number 1, delegate Leonard Leitner. Number 2, first alternate voting delegate Eleanor Golson. Number 3, second alternate voting delegate Lisa Morris Rothwell. If the primary voting delegate cannot be present for a TCC meeting, the first alternate voting delegate shall be the representative at the TCC meeting. If both the primary voting delegate and the first alternate voting delegate cannot be present for a TCC meeting, the second alternate voting delegate shall be the representative at the TCC meeting. These appointments are effective immediately and shall continue until successors are appointed. Delegates shall be appointed each year in November or December, or as soon thereafter as possible. All delegates shall serve at the pleasure of this council of the City of Chester and may be removed at any time.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions, any comments? Madam Clerk, roll.
Councilors Gibson,
Yes.
Green,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Mayor Roots.
Yes.
Resolution. Whereas the City of Chester, by resolution dated February 10th, 2021, authorized the purchase of 106 to 130 East 6th Street, Chester, PA, 19013, from the Chester Upland School District in an as-is condition in the amount of $508,782.14, which represents the complete forgiveness of all accounts receivable claimed for crossing guard services through December 31st, 2020. And whereas such agreement of sale of real estate provided that the agreement be executed by the buyer on or before October 28th, 2020, with settlement and delivery of the deed no later than November 16th, 2020. And whereas the City of Chester and the Chester Upland School District wish to amend Section 2, entitled Settlement, of the agreement to revise the settlement and delivery of the deed to be no later than June 30th, 2024. Now, therefore, the Council of the City of Chester does resolve, number 1, that it does hereby approve Addendum number 1 attached hereto, amending the agreement of sale of real estate for the sale of 106 to 130 East 6th Street by the Chester Upland School District to the City of Chester as follows. Section 2, settlement of the agreement is amended to provide that this addendum must be executed by the buyer on or before June 1st, 2024, with settlement and delivery of the deed at such date and place as mutually shall be agreed upon, but no later than June 30th, 2024. Number 2, all other terms and conditions of the agreement remain unchanged and in full force and effect.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions, any comments? Madam Clerk?
Councilors Gibson? Yes. Green?
Yes.
West?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Mayor Kirkland. Oh, sorry. Mayor Roots. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Resolution. Whereas the City of Chester fully supports the submission of a Transportation and Economic Development Initiative, TCDI, planning grant application by Delaware County to request planning grant dollars from the Delaware Valley Regional Planning Commission, DVRPC. And whereas the city fully understands, if chosen for funding, that DVRPC will provide project management and oversight of the planning grant and shall advise on the qualification-based procurement process if required. And whereas the city fully understands that DVRPC will contract directly with a consultant chosen through a fair and open procurement process on behalf of the project sponsor. And whereas the city fully understands the application requirements, including the county coordination and attachments. Now, therefore, the council of the city of Chester does resolve that the city of Chester hereby authorizes Delaware County to submit an application to DVRPC for a TCDI planning grant and agrees that if selected for the TCDI grant, the city will take all necessary action for the county to complete the project associated with the grant agreement within the 24-month time frame, which includes the submission of all documentation and records that may be required by DVRPC to ensure proper allocation of costs and resources and provide proof of adoption or acceptance of the final deliverable by Chester City Council through a resolution that must be submitted no later than December 31st, 2026 to DVRPC.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions, any comments, council persons? Madam Clerk?
Councilors Gibson? Green?
Yes.
West?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Mayor Roots?
Yes.
Resolution. Whereas the Pennsylvania Commission on Crime and Delinquency, PCCD, awarded the Delaware County District Attorney's Office $2 million from the 2022 Pennsylvania Commission on Crime and Delinquency, Violence Intervention and Prevention, VIP grant, number 36733. And whereas the county, as the recipient of funding for the original grant term of February 1st, 2022 through February 1st, 2024, subsequently extended the term to December 31st, 2024. And whereas the county and city believe it is in the best interest to use a portion of the PCCD VIP grant funds for the Chester Police Department. Now, therefore, the council of the city of Chester does resolve that it does hereby accept the designated portion of the awarded $2 million from the Pennsylvania Commission on Crime and Delinquency, Violence Intervention and Prevention grant, number 36733, through its award recipient, the County of Delaware, to reduce the incidence of gun violence and support the capacity of the Chester Police Department to advance the grant objective. Further, it does authorize the mayor and city clerk to execute said agreement for and on behalf of the city of Chester.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions, any comments? I'll just make a comment. In reading that, it sounds a little confusing. We are not receiving $2 million. We're receiving a designated portion of this $2 million that will be directed solely to the police department. And I will add that a portion of that $2 million has been used in the city of Chester at 10th and Concord Playground. So the improvements you see on that playground was from this same grant that occurred last summer. Madam Clerk?
Councilors Gibson? Yes. Green?
Yes.
West?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Mayor Roots?
Yes. One moment, Madam Clerk.
Madam Clerk, Resolution 32 will be removed from the agenda.
Okay.
And 33.
And 33.
And 33 as well, correct.
All right, so if you didn't catch that, resolutions 32 and 33 were removed from the agenda. Kind of goes back to Ms. Smith's point. These were two resolutions that we didn't even discuss in deliberative, so we're going to clean that up in the future. It is time for, I don't want to miss this. How about this? Reports from our committees. And we've been using this as a placeholder up to now, but I'm going to let Councilman Green, Councilman Davis tell us what occurred this week with regard to our committees.
God bless you.
Bless you. So in regards to the agenda that was published, Budget and Finance Committee, the committee met on April 8th, which was Monday, 2024, to discuss the fee schedule ordinance. The next meeting is scheduled for April 22nd, 2 Mondays from now at 1 p.m. in council chambers. What was discussed in our first Budget and Finance Committee was what we said in the agenda, the fee ordinance. And the fee ordinance covers any and all fees in regards to the city for any type of work. So for example, if you need disability parking space in front of your home, there's a fee, there's an initial fee for that, as well as a yearly fee that you have to pay going forward. We looked over that fee to see, are we charging enough? Are we not charging, are we charging too much? Are we not charging enough? And what analysis went into that so the residents know exactly what the fees are and why they're paying them. That's just one example of the fee that we went over as far as finance for different entities in the city. So for Parks and Recreation, we went over the fee for the different playgrounds or the different parks or resources that we have here in the city that can be rented and used to the public on why we're charging these fees and how we might be able to adjust them to benefit the city going forward in a healthy financial situation. So those were some of the few things that we covered this Monday at the Budget and Finance Committee. We did table the conversation to 2 Mondays from now, which is the 22nd, in regards to some numbers that we couldn't exactly figure out why they were the numbers that they were and what type of analysis, like I said, goes into those numbers, so the residents have a clearer understanding of what they're paying for, what they're getting when they pay for these fees, and exactly what work goes into that. So, thank you.
Councilman, I think you and I have a conflict on the 27th at 1 o'clock. I had,
22nd.
I meant the 22nd. That's 2 Mondays from now, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, meant the 22nd. I had put in a request for a meeting for the Public Works Committee. So I guess we can work that out.
Yes,
One of us will go at 1 and the other will go at 2 o'clock.
that's fine, yeah.
Okay.
So in regards to what Councilman West just said, we do have a conflict. 2 different committees are supposed to meet that exact same day at the same time. So what most likely happen is I will push the Budget and Finance Committee back to 2 p.m. that same Monday, which is the 22nd, so that way we can still continue everything as regularly scheduled.
Oh, I'm sorry. I see here, it was, the Public Works Committee meeting was put down for 12. I didn't know. 12
I
o'clock.
didn't do it, I don't know.
Okay.
I didn't,
Well, I'll go at 12 and you'll go at 1. We're fine. Thank you.
Needless to, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Speaking of finance, and this has nothing to do, this is not to Councilman Davis, more so to the mayor and to the CFO. I've been here, got sworn in January 2nd, and I still have not seen a financial report. The mayor decided to take the financial report off the agenda, and so therefore, City Council, we still do not see the expenditure report. And so I did send you guys an email today requesting that the council be provided an expenditure report, whether that be on a biweekly basis or a monthly basis, so that way council can know what's coming in and going out. This is the only board, and I've been on almost a dozen boards, where we don't receive an expenditure report. So it is my hope that moving forward, we can get that to council. We don't have to add it back to the agenda, but at least council need to see the expenditure report every month.
Duly noted. In the interest of time, no other committee has met, so the statement that we would read would be the committee has not met since the last council meeting. There are no future meetings scheduled at this time, except for your
Public Works.
Public Works.
Public Works is scheduled for April 22nd at 12 p.m. in council chambers. And we will have an agenda. I believe it'll be published so that the community, those of you who have an interest in any of the topics that we're going to discuss, then please feel free to come out to that committee meeting on April 22nd at 12 p.m. Okay?
All right. So just like every other meeting, there will be an agenda. It will be posted publicly, at least 24 hours in advance, probably before. There will be a live stream. We wanted to kind of test run Councilman Davis's committee meeting just to see how it flowed, and it flowed really well. So we did record it. I think we're going to put it up on our site or channel so you could view it. In the future, it will be live streamed. The recording will go up on the channel and/or website, and there will be minutes that will be available as well. One of the things we're going to get to is a consistency in the look and the feel and the delivery and the agendas and the minutes of all boards and agencies and committees here in city government. So the other committees, Community and Economic Development Committees, that's chaired by Council Lady Gibson. There's a Human Resources Administration and Appointment Committee chaired by myself. Parks and Rec Committee, chaired by Councilman Green. Public Safety Committee chaired by myself. We just spoke on the Public Works Committee, chaired by Council Lady West. And the Rules, Chambers, Intergovernmental Relations and Strategy Committee is chaired by me. We do not have a controller's report tonight. Chief of Staff, it says none, just want to double check. He has nothing. It says good and welfare. I don't know what that refers to, but as far as I'm concerned, it's time for public comment. So where's that sheet? If anybody didn't sign, let's sign now. So I don't want any stragglers at the end. Hold on, Commissioner, we have one more.
There you go. Special pen.
Well, we have a little pause in the action, and we hate dead air. I want to thank you guys for coming out tonight. City council meetings are becoming must-see TV and in person.
Also, I want to remind everyone that tomorrow we'll be having a community town hall meeting that will be downstairs in the community room from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And also myself and Councilman Davis, today we did celebrate with our Muslim brothers and sisters up at Chester Park, where they had the end of Ramadan celebration, which was a great event. And it was full of love. It was definitely.
Yes, it was. Yeah. To touch base on that a little bit, it was a wonderful event. Something that one of the brothers pointed out to me was there was no music, but just genuine conversation, genuine bonds, genuine family-oriented fun for the kids that the community, I feel as though, would have benefited from as a whole, because there was nothing but love in the air and support as a community. So I was happy to get a chance to celebrate with our Muslim brothers and sisters today.
It was great to see so many people from all over the city, not just one area, but it was the West Side, East Side, 3rd Street, Project, everyone, and it was all love. It was all, good vibes. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case in Philadelphia, so our thoughts and prayers go out to those victims and everyone affected by that. So keep them in your prayers.
I hadn't heard about that one. And while we're waiting, outside on the table is this very colorful flyer with upcoming events. I'm not going to read them all, but as the councilman just said, town hall listening session tomorrow night. We've got an Earth Day tree planting and park cleanup. Chester City Autism Acceptance Day coming on April 20th. Second annual Shred event, April 23rd. Expungement and Pardon Clinic. It's so small and so dark up here, I can't see the date. And then there's a Meet Your Local Nonprofits block party on May 8th, and then Chester Day, the equivalent of a summertime class reunion, will be taking place on May 10th. So that's that. Here we go. Jamel Cotman, Livia Smith, and then John Shelton. So if you guys could be ready to come up. The clock is ticking. You got 3 minutes.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Council.
Good afternoon.
I'm here on behalf of Sun Village. Sun Village, thank Councilman Green, Councilman Davis for coming out to their Easter egg hunt. I'm sorry that Mayor and the other councils could not come out, but they're really upset about that because they feel as though that Sun Village, the east end of the Sun Village, they're mad because they feel as though that they are left out, that the Parks Department coordinator sent all the resources to Chester Park and on Memorial Park, and Sun Village didn't have no Easter egg hunt until it came down to days before, and a group of us had to come together and put an Easter egg hunt together. That's sad. If these are the same people that voted y'all in, and y'all cannot be there for them, that's sad that we allow one person that continue to run the Parks Department instead of the head of the Parks Department that do not come out and see what's going on in the Parks Department. That's really sad that they could sit in their office the whole day and don't even go down Sun Village. The grass was not cut. It was tree limbs that was cut that was on the ground. And again, it's sad. We're talking about change, but we're talking about change in a bad way right now. Because again, the Parks Department, people trying to do events within the parks, and they can't even get a permit to do anything in the parks. I've been waiting for 2 months to get a permit approved. They do a ball against violence down on every Memorial Park, 2 months, and still didn't get approved. That's sad, and we're doing something for the community as a whole. This is really sad that today that we trying to make things change, and we still can't. There's nothing at all getting changed unless you're in a group with certain people. That's really sad that I had to come out here today and talk about these things, about the things that's going on in the city of Chester. People are still waiting for permits, a permit for 2 months. I asked the director, how long do it take for the permit to get approved? Well, there's no time limit. There's no time limit. That's sad that we could do things like that. How can we move forward to make the community better if we can continue to get held back? That's all I got to say. Thank y'all, and thank y'all, and God bless.
Ms. Smith?
Okay, I know you say you don't answer no questions, but I'll just put it out there. Just for FYI, I'm just inquiring on 3rd Street, between Edwards and Flower, that street has been blocked off almost 2 months. 113 bus has to go around up to 4th Street and do what they have to do. So is there plans on doing something for that particular area? Is it a concern that the building's about to fall down? But then I fear for the people that's still doing business selling tires right beside them, that they're still in business. So you might want to check that out. That street has been blocked off for almost 2 months. Is there any plans on repaving Melrose Avenue? The SEPTA buses, I mean, that's another 113 route. Can someone get with SEPTA to see if we can get some repavement? Because it's their buses that are tearing up our streets. So if you don't have the money, which I don't think y'all had the money, that you said you're bankrupt, but I see a lot of people getting paid on, you got a lot of people get 100 plus, to have that conversation. And then my last thing, is there going to be a state of the city plan? I know in years, and it goes way back to my childhood day, there's always been a plan for the city as far as what they had, what is planning for us, and what has been done in the first 100 days. Now, I just want to just say one thing, that you're talking about protocol. Local ordinances cannot trump state ordinances. So I want you to make sure you look at the state ordinances to make sure that you're in compliance with that, because the state ordinance says that any can be on board. So I need y'all to check that out, because I know it goes federal, state, county, local, and if you're not in compliance with that, even on a political note, you can't put in something that you want to do locally that overturns what is already being done on the state level. So look into that. Thank you.
Mr. Shelton. Thank you, Ms. Smith.
Good evening, Mayor, Council,
Good evening.
Good evening.
and Chester City's taxpayers and all. Because I don't believe everybody in here is a taxpayer. I said I don't believe. Didn't say anything else. So if you record this, make sure that you get it right. I just heard the committee in reference to parking, handicap zone, and that package. This is my first time in hearing it. But do we have any answers? Are you still meeting on it? Have we notified the residents, the taxpayers, in reference to it? Are we getting the notices out from each council person what they're going to do and how they're going to do it? And are they going to involve the people that live there that are paying the taxes? Because there are some of us that are paying taxes. We don't live in public housing. So it's only fair to us if you do that and you're elected. We'd like to hear from you. Is there a city plan? And the people that may be planning, are they local people? People that we elected. Are they local people? The people that directed all these departments. Are they local people? These are questions of concern, taxpayers. And I can speak for myself. I've been paying taxes here. And I don't go back as far as it might scare you. So we deserve elected officials, new elected officials, and young people. We just like for you to do things in order and right and with us, because that's what was advocated when you ran for office. And we like that connection. There's some things that are going on in City Hall here that we don't know about. We don't know anything about the plans. And I talk to a lot of people here. Most everybody here from Chester and all around, I know them. Some of them are trained. So we get it. But we will help you do the right things. And we appreciate it if you do that and tell us what's going on. Let us know. And these people that you brought in, and we don't have no money, but we're bringing all these folks from Bethlehem, Allentown, and I know all the folks in Allentown. I've had NAACP, we had people all over the United States, and I've been to almost every state. And I know each one of them operate. Some of that's still there. So please, for city residents, let us help you, but you got to help us.
Thank you, Mr. Shelton.
All right.
Thank you. Your time's up. Thank you, though.
Thank you very much, Mayor.
Appreciate it.
All right.
We love the wisdom. We stand on your shoulders. Jim Allen, Nelson, Desiree Jones, in that order.
Good evening, Mayor.
Hi.
Members of council. My name is James P. Allen. I serve as your Director of Elections for Delaware County. Come here for a couple of reasons: to make sure that the public is aware of some polling place changes that we had to make very recently. And I want to thank the mayor, and I want to thank Council Member West, who called me with concerns about this. The mayor helped me find a very, very good location for one of the situations we ran into. As background, we sent out letters to all of our polling place management starting in January, basically to try to get more contact information in case the custodian has changed, whatever the contact information, but also to find out if everything is good for April 23rd. So that's when the primary is, coming up just 2 weeks from now. We only learned very recently of 2 structures in the city of Chester that have long each held 2 precincts that have significant physical failings. that won't allow them to serve. One was in Sun Village, and the mayor, you were kind enough to work with us and find a new location, which we think is a major upgrade. Gilbert's Ballroom is going to serve as the host of the 2 precincts that used to be in Sun Village in a maintenance garage. The second one was a little trickier. It was the barn at Chester City Park. We examined a church that was an option, Grace Church, but federal law is really strict as far as the accessibility. There's stairs that you would have to get up to the sidewalk, and then stairs you would have to go down to reach the doorway, and it won't pass federal law. So we looked at the next least worst option, if you will. So we had one to go to the Literacy Center, but that's almost a mile away, and the other, which is about 3 blocks away, Parkside Fire Company. So we're going to have those 3 precincts, the 2, if you need a map, I can provide them for you, the 2 that are right by Chester Park. As you can see, the Parkside Fire Company is a short distance away. The Literacy Center would be a long walk for anybody who may not have access to a car that day or get home from work late. So that's where we are. We'll work with the city on finding if this location is not considered deemed suitable. We'll work with the city gladly on working on a better location. But in the meantime, I also have to put in a pitch. We have a number of paid positions for poll workers in various precincts. So depending on the training, the pay ranges from $190 to $340. You can serve your neighbors, help make sure that they have the right to vote. And well, suffice to say, we have numerous locations across Chester City, as well as other jurisdictions, but we have a concentration of them. And workers who work in 2 precincts can make $490 if they're the Joe, and they get sufficient training. Pay ranges from $150 to $490. And just call our poll worker hotline at 484-460-3750.
One more time.
484-460-3750. And if not, you can visit our website. Just search Delco Votes Poll Worker Resources. It'll take you right to the page with all kinds of information. Thank you for indulging me.
I just have.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry, just two questions. With these new changes being, and the election is 2 weeks away.
Right.
How do you guys plan to notify all of the voters in both districts, Sun Village and Chester Park, with it 2 weeks away? And also, since we're changing from Chester Park to Parkside, is there any conflict or anything legally, since they'll be voting outside of the municipality?
We have other municipalities where we have 1 precinct or 2 precincts from one municipality voting in another. It's not ideal, but it is acceptable. As far as notice, mailings of notices went out more than a week ago in the case of Gilbert's, and last week in the case of Parkside Fire. So that was one of the concerns. We also post notice at the old polling place to make sure that if anybody arrives there incorrectly, they can go there. Next up, even if you go to a neighboring polling place, we'll have 100% coverage of electronic poll books. They can look you up at any polling place and print out a ticket and advise you where you can go cast your ballot. So we've got a number of backstops for this. And part of the reason I'm here is because Councilwoman West mentioned that she had not received a mail notice yet. So we do mail notices to every single registered voter in the affected precincts.
Thank you.
Sure.
You got it.
Thank you again.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your coming out and speaking with the residents.
Anytime.
Well, I'm glad you said anytime, because we're going to have you back before every election, and you won't be limited to 3 minutes. We'll have a formal presentation. I think it's important that the Bureau of Elections comes down and talks to us. Sometimes we do feel a bit disconnected, but your office worked with me well, and obviously with Council Lady West, we were working on different fronts to get the same result. For those of you who have gone to Sun Village, you know we only open that building twice a year, primary and general election. That building is scheduled to get worked on real soon. And then the garage up at Sun Village, it was identified that it just couldn't take another election. The tricky part was Chester Park, finding a place that was close. There isn't a lot of commercial entities in that area. So whoever found Parkside Firehouse, I hope it works out. I'm glad you found it. It does seem strange that it's across the street from the city. I asked the same question, but I'm glad it all worked out. It's exciting to hear how much money you pay on Election Day for poll workers and people who work there. I think people should seriously consider working the polls. We're always struggling to get all the polling places staffed.
It's 150 base pay, but then if you take and
Take the
pass.
training, yeah.
Take the training and pass the test and serve successfully on Election Day, that boosts your pay if you do the return and pickup. And again, I was excited to hear someone ask for the phone number, so I'll give it again, 484-460-3750.
Yep, that's the same number you gave last time.
Okay.
And Commissioner Gretzky, can we have a conversation with the Parkside Police? You know, a lot of our people will be there. I don't know how the parking situation is going to be, you know. Will you let them know that we'll be in the house on the 23rd? And so, you know,
I will place the call.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And tell them don't be pulling all people over.
That's right.
Good evening. My name is Desiree Jones. I'm a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, Chester Alumni Chapter. We have 160 members of our chapter that does work here in Chester and in the surrounding areas for over the last 30 years. We are here today to hear what is needed from Chester's standpoint and how we can support you moving forward. And some highlighted items is that we give out scholarships every year that ranges between the $10,000 to $20,000 mark. And the ideal person would come from a high school in Chester and the surrounding areas. And also, we would like to partner in regarding gun reduction and violence and how we can support Chester in that effort. Thank you for having us here tonight.
What's the sorority again?
Delta Sigma Theta, Chester Alumni Chapter. And we have a website with all our information and past activities.
Can you give the website, please?
It's actually Chester Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta. If you Google that, it'll come right up.
Chapter, gotcha.
Thank you.
And we have some members, other members here. Can you
Yes,
please?
can we have all our members stand up?
There they are. Well, $10,000 and $20,000 scholarships makes me want to go back to school yearly. Okay. Mr. Nelson, was that you?
Oh, I just wanted the same respect you gave him. I was just waiting to hear my name. How's everybody doing today? Don't frown, smile. So, there we go. There we go. Take it easy. How's everybody doing today? Council, Mayor.
Blessed by the
Right. And the reason I asked him to repeat it because I didn't hear it, and it wasn't for me. It was for other people. I won't be working no polls, but I just thought that was nice, a nice price, and I hope that I will be passing that information along. Thank you for that. That's a nice day's pay, I can tell you that. But I'm here for different reasons. One, Judy was here, Miss Judy was here, Ellen and I. She assured us that her officers, I was doing an eviction. When we call up here and ask LNI to do something they say is in court, they can't get involved. But when the tenant calls, they come. She said that's not supposed to happen. Again, it happened again. The tenant called, here come LNI. I would like, when I said something to the officer, he said he doesn't know nothing about that rule. So I don't see her here. I would like for it to be clarity on that so that there will be no conflict between landlord and officer on things like, on situations like that. Secondly, my second complaint, 1116 Potter Street has been vacant for years. I have complained. It was on the demolition for years. It's falling. I don't know why you guys haven't took it down yet. Bricks are falling from it. I'm just going to be fair to tell you, if it falls and hurts somebody, I'm going to be the first one on the news saying I was here, and I've been screaming this from the top of my lungs from years. If someone get hurt or raped or anything, that property, that I've been kicking people out, I've been wasting tax dollars, calling cops from, it's an eyesore to me. People sleeping there, trying to make it a crack house. I live across the street. I got to see that. I choose to live here. I don't have to live here. Please, I want to enjoy this. Please help me. The third thing, I noticed that the grass have been being cut. I want to thank, I think, I don't know what it is, that Parks Department, whoever's in charge of that. I have been seeing a change this year. Normally, I got to wait to see hay growing before the grass. I mean, on my block, I just not just in my area. I just been seeing them working. I've been seeing people in that department picking, not just cutting grass, picking up trash. I just see a change. And the same way I complain when I see something right, I want to say whoever's in charge of doing that, great job. And I want to thank you. And last but not least, I want everybody to come out to May 10th to Harris Casino, to this fundraising event that the mayor's also sponsoring himself to help with Chester basketball team. It's the Battle Against Classes, the oldest class. There we will honor the most class, I don't know if I'm saying that properly, if it's an English teacher, forgive me, in a class, the most class that's attended there. We have something there to honor in Harris. Is also, it's a Chester Day. For the first time, Harris is recognizing us as a Chester Day, and they're going to give us little things and things, so please participate.
Thank you, Mr. Nelson.
All right. May 10th, I have flyers and tickets. And if you can't come, you can donate.
Thank you, Mr. Nelson.
You're welcome, Mayor. If you can't come, you can donate. I have flyers. It'll be on the website.
You will stay behind to take any questions or comments. And
That's what I was trying to say.
I know you were.
Thank you.
Let me ask, I see here S.E. Spence or Spencer, but I also...
Spencer.
Did you cross your name out? Yes. Okay, I just wanted to make sure. So we have Lynn Johnson, Alonzo Burton, Karen Dunlop, in that order. Lynn Johnson. Lynn Johnson. There's Miss Lynn.
Good evening.
Good evening.
To all assembled here, to Honorable Mayor, and all of council. This is my first time coming before council, and I'm so excited about it. What I'm really here for, I have two questions or comments. The first is, how and what is the process to obtain speed bumps in my area where I live, which is on Sunnyside Avenue? The reason I'm asking is because we have seniors on that block, and we also have seniors that are disabled on that block. And the young men, they start from Madison and stop at Mowry. Madison, they stop at Mowry. There is 3 stop signs, but they don't stop. They start at Madison and they go all the way to Mowry. So can someone help me or tell me where do I go to?
Just give us number 2 and we'll address it at the end.
Okay, so number 2 is, you guys were speaking about the boards here in the city. What is the criteria to obtain a position on these boards? Because it seems like the same people are on these boards. And is it open to the public when there's a vacancy? And the reason I'm asking is because we have a lot of talented residents here in this city, and they're intelligent. They might want to be on the board. So that's my last question.
Okay, thanks. Good to see you.
Thank you.
And before you have your seat, I just want to commend you on the work that you do in the community on every Tuesday. I've been down to your church, and the way that people are greeted when they come in, it's top tier. So I appreciate all that you're doing, and you can cook. I like the potato salad.
Okay. Thank you, Councilwoman. Oh, one other thing. I'm sorry. Is my 3 minutes up yet?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
You're all right.
I want to address the young man about Sun Village. I'm not only outreach for my church, but I'm outreach for other organizations, and I would like to help them as well. So I wanted to let him know.
Thank you.
Okay.
I bet you're Alonzo Burton.
That would be me.
All right.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
Mr. Solicitor. Alonzo Burton. I'm here on behalf of the landlords and the new fees that's been invoked. I know everyone believes that the landlords or any landlord have all of this money just sitting around not doing anything. I know all landlords are rich and wealthy. However, when you have this amount of fees being invoked at one time, that's tough on anyone. Most people are responsible for just one home, and just owning or renting or being responsible for one location, as most people know, can be very tough financially. When you have taxes, stormwater, leaks, maintenance, you multiply that by 10, 15, 20, 30 properties, that's tough. We had a brief conversation with Mr. Leitner out in the hall before I came in, and he enlightened me on some things that 80% of the landlords live out of state. So what's really happening is us local guys, us small guys, we're really catching the blunt of what's going on right now. Just today, I had 2 stickers posted on 2 properties telling the tenants that the building was unlawful. Now, these people paying their rent, whether they paid their rent or not, they left out this morning only to come home to a sticker saying they can't enter their home because of a fee that the landlord hasn't paid to City Hall. Me as a landlord, if a tenant is not in compliance with their lease, if they haven't paid their rent or violated the lease some other type of way, and I want them out, I can't just go to their home and put them out on one. I have to go through a court proceeding. To even start that proceeding, I have to give them a 10-day notice according to my lease. I have to give them 10 days, and then I can go to the court and file. So, me being a taxpayer, and I pay a bunch of taxes, not that you should get brownie points for paying your taxes, you should pay your taxes. But when I'm paying a couple $100,000 a year in taxes, and my tenants have to be faced with this, and you know most people around here, they take stuff like that and run with it. They're calling my phone, they're upset with me, and I'm not understanding because I've never seen that before. That's really frustrating.
You got 15 seconds.
That's really frustrating. I mean, normally, if you're doing some kind of business and you're doing just one of this or 2 of that, you may not get no break. You may not get no type of break on it. But when you're a landlord and you have multiple properties, you're doing a lot more business than the average homeowner, things should be set up a little differently. You all know, you don't deal with everybody the same. So I just we're going to meet with Leitner, but I wanted to address council because ultimately you guys have to vote on this. Consider the landlord, because during these rough times Chester been going through.
All right, we got it.
It's been the landlords that's been holding Chester down with these tax dollars.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it. Well delivered.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, City Solicitor. My name's Karen Dunlap. The first point I want to address is at 3rd and Flower Street in the city. Those traffic lights have been on blinking for 2 weeks. That is a high traffic area. You have a large percentage of your municipal waste trucks, tractor trailer trucks, as well as container trucks coming through that corridor. Now, traditionally, when there's a soccer game or some type of activity at the soccer stadium, the lights are placed on blink. And I understand from previously when I noticed those lights go on blink that the city is responsible for putting those lights back on regular, but that haven't happened. And today, when I went to cross over that street, the truck, he had the yellow light and he stopped, and I'm looking, I had the red light, so basically I had to stop, but he was courteous enough to he stopped to allow me to cross. And what you have is SEPTA 119, SEPTA 113 coming to that intersection. So you have trucks, your bus, because the bus, like Ms. Smith indicated, cannot continue, the 113, cannot continue down that corridor of West Third Street because it's blocked off because of a hazardous situation with a building. So they have to continue down on Flower Street. So it's congested. That needs to be addressed and changed. It doesn't take 2-3 weeks for that to switch back over. And I have called to address that situation. The next thing I want to talk about is the State Route 291, because those trucks are backed up from 2nd and Flower to 3rd and Flower because that traffic light timing was off. Now, the gentleman came probably about 3 weeks ago, and I went over to him and asked him, are you adjusting the timing for this light? Because the trucks are backed up to 3rd and Flower, all the way back up to 4th and Flower because of the timing of that traffic light at 2nd and Flower. Those trucks are going left on 291, which would be what, east, and then they're going left and they're going right because they're picking up 95, Interstate 95, going south, or they're picking up to go over to the Commodore Barry Bridge, or they're picking up to go 322 west. So you have a lot of corridors, you have a lot of heavy traffic. What the trucks are doing, they are bypassing, going down residential streets, they're going down Rainey Street, they're coming down Yarnell Street because they want to bypass that 2nd and Flower Street corridor. The next issue I want to talk about is the trash.
You're out of time.
Okay,
Give me
the
20
trash.
seconds on trash.
Okay, trash, 20 seconds. I want to find out if people who are on, who have been charged with public, what I'm trying to say, if they can pick up the trash when they have, they're assigned to, what is that word? Community service, that's it, thank you. I have a little concussion, I'm still dealing with it. Community service. If they've been assigned to community service, can they be assigned a particular part to start cleaning up? Can we have public service announcements, how to use the new trash cans and place them out of the corridor, out of the passageway, and that's what I want to talk about, the trash and how to use those trash cans. Thank you.
Thank you. That was great. We got Calvin Church, Margaret Slor. I'm not sure. Margaret, do you know who you are? Margaret. Oh, okay, that's a J. It looks like an S. I'm sorry. I know Margaret Johnson too well. And Bernadette, what's your last name, Bernadette? Let us know when you come up here. Mr. Church.
Good evening, Mayor Roots and Councilman and the City of Chester.
Good evening.
I'm surprised nobody haven't mentioned this yet, but we were supposed to have a meeting with Judy Richardson, L&I, to talk about them letters that's coming out. We haven't had a meeting yet, and I don't understand what's being prolonged, why it's being prolonged so long. I mean, because I'm like, that was last meeting. Now we're in another meeting. Now we're going to go to another meeting. So when are we going to sit down with L&I to talk about these letters? Oh, yes, that's right, right. Oh, now listen, let me say it to him. She gave us a date, April the 23rd. Everybody know what day that is, right? Right. So we would come up here. If we didn't know what the election day was, we would have came up here looking for her on election day. And it's closed, correct, though. So I'm like, oh, I mean, can we get some speedieness on this thing for us actually? I mean, I want to pay my taxes, and I want to pay whatever I got to do, but we need to get some things straightened out first. And it's taking too long to get this done. And, when you go to the office, she won't come out of the office. And I'm not badging her, but I'm just saying, that's the fact. It's a fact. It's real. But I'm just saying, Mayor, can we get something done? Can we have this meeting that she said we was going to have, and we haven't had it yet?
Okay.
Thank
Anything
you.
else? Thank you.
All right.
Margaret Johnson.
Good evening, everyone. Oh, your hat.
Yeah.
Yes, my name is Margaret Johnson, and I live at 927 Booth Street in Chester. Also, L&I, I've been contacting them, but I want you, can you, so, as you can hear, this is someone doing work. These are the repairs that I hear from the house next to me. This work is not being done in my house. Oh, I'm sorry, it went off. But it was originally a house. It was then changed to a 3-family dwelling, then changed back to a house. So in the process of doing so, you are, of course, if you're not putting any insulation or whatever you need to do, when you take these walls out, put these walls back in, you lose the quality of silence. So I can hear, luckily, I've had great neighbors. It's not the neighbors, it's the landlord not doing what I feel they should do. I've called L&I, and they told me there's nothing that can be done about that. There is no law that says that they have to put back the insulation. I said, well, what about firewall quality? What's going on here? I can hear, when I listen to my television, I look at television, my neighbors looking at television, we hear each other's television. I've been calling. First, I called, and also, my neighbor moved out in November, so the landlord started doing renovations. That's the noise that was on there. Sorry, I'm not good with this phone. And when they replaced completely the lower back roof, and then they repaired the lower front and the main roof. All the time putting their equipment and working off of my roof. I'm going outside telling them to get off my roof, because if you do some damage to my roof, so, you know, unfortunately, you know, we have the language barrier, so, you know, so our issue was that. First I called L&I. No one returned a call. Then I came over and made a formal complaint. No one has ever, now mind you, this is from November, December, no one has ever addressed the paperwork that I left here in reference to this. So I'm still calling, and I'm getting things like, oh yeah, I know who you are. Yes, you do. And they'll tell me, I said, well, tell me, who is the person in charge for my area? I don't know. I'll have to look it up and call you back. So if one of you called me back, so did they. My problem is this: I should not have people, I'm on the phone while they're working, and people are asking me, what work am I getting done in my house? None is getting done next to me. I should not hear it like someone has a power drill in my house. So last month when you had your meeting.
20 seconds.
Okay. Well, like when he was talking about the meeting with the landlords, that's why I said, let me come over, because that need to be issued too. And not just landlords, anyone who owns property. If you're doing these changes, then you need to put that back in, because it doesn't make sense that I have to, or she has to listen to 2 televisions at the same time all the time. You know, something, if you don't have an ordinance saying they have to do it, then you need to make one. So, thank you.
Good evening. Bernadette Raymond, 1206 Beverly Lane. We want to thank the mayor and council. Yesterday, we opened up our front doors, and to our surprise, we got streetlights back.
Oh, that's to my surprise. I didn't know.
Well, thank you. That's why I'm here, to thank you for that. Second thing is, behind us on Perkins, the 1200 block of Perkins, they're using it as a dumping site. Is it possible we can get that cleaned up?
100 block?
The 1200 block by DeMarco's coming up the alley of Perkins. And also the potholes that you filled, they're coming open again on that same Perkins Street. And if you do the business like you did for those lights, I'm on board with you. You mess up, I'll be back.
That's why we like you.
And thank you, Mr. Alexander, for the lights.
I don't want to get this wrong. David Kronheim. Inez Williams and come on, it's your turn. You can go ahead. State your name and address.
Okay, so I am reading on behalf of David Kronheim at 1104 Colhane Street. He was on his way in and was rushing to get in and took a slip and trip and fall in the parking lot. So he would be here, but he's now back at home avoiding an ambulance run and a hospital run. He's banged up pretty bad. But he did pass me on to this. Let me preface by saying that this is in no way, shape, or form any of my anything. I'm just doing a favor. His statement says, in reference to the recent Stormwater Authority meeting that Councilwoman Gibson attended, in regards to Executive Director Horace Strand, his title of doctor is misleading. Horace holds a Doctor of Divinity degree. Doctor of Divinity is an honorary degree and cannot be earned through an academic program. Some colleges allow you to apply for the honorary degree if you prove that you have a bachelor's degree and enough experience in ministry. Horace likely has a bachelor's degree in theological studies. This raises the question, how is Horace qualified to run the Stormwater Authority? Horace has contributed at least $5,000 to Thaddeus Kirkland's political campaign, and that should be a partial explanation. At the recent SWA meeting, I found Horace to be bullying, not allowing people to ask questions in the manner they wanted to. Generally, people will ask all their questions at once or wait after each question to see if and or what the answer will be. Horace did not allow this. He did his best to reduce the number of questions asked by people, insisted on being the one to respond to most questions, regardless of whether SWA board members wanted to speak or not. Given this presentation, I would appreciate council doing their best to have Horace Strand resign from the SWA and any other boards or authorities related to city functions. In regards to what influence Police Commissioner Gretzky has over the city's bankrupt police pension plan, ultimately it appears Gretzky is responsible for all overtime allowed to officers in their last year of service, which is a large factor in determining how high their lifetime pension will be. It could take 2 years till the receiver's office negotiates with the police union how much police will get for their pensions going forward. In the meantime, I would appreciate an agreement from the police union and Commissioner Gretzky that minimizes or eliminates overtime and other discretionary factors in an officer's last year of service that increases their pension. Further, I want an agreement from the police officers, their union, and the commissioner that the maximum pension an officer will earn from now on will never exceed their current salary. That's a minimal way the police can support our bankrupt community. Please include in this meeting's minutes that I ask the city to update their zoning to eliminate in this city all incineration, in particular from Covanta and Delcora.
Stop, hard stop. Thank you.
And I would like to request if I could speak on my own 3 minutes for some animal and good stuff.
Nope, too late, too late.
She was speaking on somebody else's behalf.
I'm sorry.
The clerk needs your name.
Oh, I'm sorry. J.C. Malakella. I think it's about Jayci. Mollichella.
Thank you. Now, I'm making a new rule. Stop me if you want, council. From now on, there will be nobody reading on behalf of somebody else.
Thank you.
I will tell you, though, having heard that, that's David. I mean, you didn't write that. That is certainly David.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I know.
I was just doing... Shh. Okay.
I don't want this to be, I don't want anybody to come up here reading on anybody else's behalf because it can be a bad reflection on you based on the comments that you're sharing. And secondly, I would want to respond in the person's face that are making those comments. But thank you tonight, and this is the last time it's going to happen, unless you guys want to
No, I
want to
think
discuss
you're-
this.
I
Hold on, let me
think
let me
you're
finish,
right.
dear.
I think you're right.
Council lady, you made me lose my train of thought. But in any case, yeah, that's definitely David's writing. So for those of you who don't know David, that's from him. I'm never going to allow anybody to read on anybody's behalf unless maybe they're in the room. Oh, the final point is, if he has prepared comments as he had tonight, he can very easily email it to us, mail it to us, and we will include it in the minutes.
Okay.
So-
He did say, ask if I could pass the,
Yeah.
the paper along to
I'll take it. We'll take it. I'm sure there's, well, it's recorded, but we'll still take it. You don't need to take it home. But, thank you.
Thanks.
We okay with that, council?
Yes.
Okay.
And so I can't speak about
You
the
will not be
headlines?
speaking tonight.
Okay.
Thank you, though. Inez William? No, thank you. For the clerk, please.
Yeah, I understand.
Hello. I'm speaking on behalf of the landlords of Chester. As you know, we didn't have the meeting yet. In December, I paid $6,000 for the certificate. I was away, and I sent a list of the houses. Judy gave me, I had 2 weeks to fill out the paper. Not 2 weeks, 2 days to fill out the paper to give to her since December. Since December, I have not received their certificates at all of about 30, 35 houses. I went to her yesterday, and she stated to me, give me the addresses. I gave her the address. It says inactive. Gave her another one, inactive. Then she asked me again to send her a list. I sent you a list. You gave me 2 days. I went away on a vacation for 3 weeks and made sure I paid, and I have not. The only thing I keep getting in the mail is notice of violations. I had an inspection, 2 houses. One I passed, one I didn't pass with because of a GFI. They sent me a bill for $50 because I didn't pass, but that's not it. You're supposed to get 30 days, then they come back. I went to her, she said, bring it to me and let me see. And I feel like it's not, even with the landlords, all these notices you keep getting, I keep getting notices, but I'm not getting what I paid for. I paid $6,000. And she was supposed to tell me whether I overpaid, and I paid that because I didn't, it's close to $6,000, but I paid that because I didn't want the penalty. But it seemed like now they just constantly, every time you open up, and then she told me, what, I supposed to knock on each landlord door? No, you're not supposed to, but it would be nice if in advance you tell me, as of January the 1st, if you buy a house from the judicial sale, you need an occupancy. UNO. You need a UNO. She said they should have told you that. She told me they going back from January the 23rd, for that. She's going to charge everybody that buys houses from the sale. I guess everybody. I normally only do it if I'm going through a realtor. But I just think even, us as landlords, you find a way to give us violations. It would be nice if you informed us, as of next year, it'll go in. Y'all went from $100 to certificate of occupancy to $200. Like, that's a lot. Especially when you got a lot of properties. And whether you got a lot of properties or not, take little by little. Y'all could have went from $100 to $150 or $125. That's a lot of money to be paying. When you got sewer, you got stormwater, you got, then the thing that after you pay $200, they come for inspection. Now, if you pass an inspection, now you got to pay $15. Like, all around is just paying money, but I'm saying, if I'm giving you what you asked for, why can't I get my certificates? Why I ain't got a handful of certificates, but y'all got my money? But I'm getting violations of, because I bought houses from the sale 2023, which I never knew you supposed to have a UNO. and now you hit me with another violation. I don't think that's right. Give me a fair warning. And I pay my taxes, thousands of dollars.
All right, anything else?
No, that's it.
Thank you. Last but not least, Mr. Salim.
Home.
Ken's still awake.
I'm getting sick of hearing these complaints about her.
Hmm?
I'm getting sick of hearing these complaints about her.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Peace be unto you. The Eid, certainly, it's a thing for humanity, a universal
Let's keep it down out there, y'all.
event that is for the whole people, humanity. I just want to mention that.
Hold on, Mr. Salim. Continue.
Yes, certainly. My name is Amin Abdul Salim. I live 240 Patterson Street in Chester here. I deviated from the large notes that I was taking to comment on to make it short that will cover a large area. And with these few words, inshallah, God's willing, is that, it says bring up the rear. All right. And it said that the last should be first. The last should be first. So we're coming out of this being first, oneness of Allah, oneness of God, oneness. There's no getting around this. Our Lord is doing this, so we certainly have to find a way to go to our Lord, because this is the only thing that is happening. So it says, in bringing up the rear, it says, let age think of youth, and youth do not turn rebellious. That's a great move right there. Oneness. And it says they had this language a while ago, and they seem to have gotten away from it. It says the forefathers, the one, it says to their youth, it says, go west, young man, go west. Now that is saying a lot. Go west with the values and the moral values, the moral principles that we had before. Go west, young man. They telling their youth, go west, straighten up, don't go over there ratting and raging, inshallah, plundering and robbing, don't go wrong. Just go with the values that we taught you, young man, go west. So this is good movement, So we certainly wanted to trust our Lord here now. The way will be made clear. And our Lord said, this is speaking from our Lord. The way will be made clear. So it gives us great hope knowing, and those of us who are religious persons know and feel in their soul that their Lord is speaking truth. The way will be made clear. This applies to all of us. All of us can feel this. Inshallah, mashallah, it is God's will. So with that, sir, I appreciate you allowing me just a few moments. I had great notes, but I shortened it too few. Thank you, sir.
Perfect, on timing. Okay, that's it for public comment. I'm going to respond to a few. I'm allow council to make any comments they would like. I see a hand. Let's bring that list back over here. What did I miss?
Betty Whitaker.
Oh, okay.
Betty.
I am so sorry. You are correct. That's Betty Whitaker, right? I'm sorry. You are here. Thank you for bringing it to my attention. I wasn't trying to overlook you.
Hi, I just been trying to address this issue about my address. Living next door to a property that has two sub pumps coming out the basement window, and I'm getting water. The pipe comes out to the sidewalk, and it's groundwater. And now it's because it's eating up so much of the asphalt in front of my house, it's going down in my basement. I've been dealing with the city. They keep saying to me, I gotta wait, it's a process. Well, in the meanwhile, the front of my wall in my basement is caving in, and it's just constantly wet. And nobody will help me. I done talked to everybody over City Hall. I done talked to Justin Kibbles. I done talked to you too. And I've talked to several people. I done talked to Attorney General. Who haven't I talked to? 50 organizations I done called. Everybody keep passing me around. But in the meanwhile, I'm getting damages. So all the work that I've done in my property, just for them to be renting rooms in a house next door to me. And I need to know who I can address, or how can I get this resolved before my property start crumbling like theirs.
It sounds like you went to all the right places.
Did I? And some.
What's the address?
2626 West 7th Street,
7th and...
behind the senior center on the end. The problem is next door.
Yeah, I understand.
I even have pictures. I have so many pictures.
Yeah. And
Okay.
Milo Majors, he's not, now I done called so much, everybody's just looking, oh, that's Ms. Whitaker again. Nobody's returning my phone call. Even Senator Kane's assistant, I've talked to her. She's been the only person that's really been, advocating for me. Now they're not even calling her back. All I want is this water to stop so I can save my home. That's all I'm asking.
Okay, I'll take care of that one. Justin, do we have her number? Okay.
Yes, I did turn it over.
I'm sorry, Justin, I called him out.
I did turn it over
I
to
apologize.
your office and to L&I.
Okay.
Since we don't have administrative powers anymore, I can't really get involved and stay involved and see it all the way through.
Okay. We can't hear you. She has any time left?
She has 47 seconds.
47 seconds, come on up here.
It's sewage. They're renting rooms. This dude, this guy in one of the rooms, because he was always working on cars in front of my house, I asked him, would you please not do that? And he got mad and put rags down in my sewage trap. And so everything started backing up with sewage in my double zincs in my basement. And now in my yard, it's because of all the lime in the groundwater from them. This is years of, I've been in the house 17 years. This is years of water damage, broken pipes from them doing bootleg stuff in the house, and then came into pandemic money and turned it into rooms, renting rooms. And now you can see the discoloration of the bricks and how it's just buckling up and how the lime is just eating up everything. And it's just, I just need somebody to just help me.
And that sump pump is coming out of the window of their basement.
Yes, I got pictures. I got trillions of pictures.
Yes, I turned that over.
Oh, okay.
What's the address of the neighbor, 24 or 28?
2624 West 7th.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
This is what happens when we can't follow through.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. This is what happens when we're overwhelmed here in City Hall with issues of 100-year-old homes that haven't been well maintained throughout the city. This is what happens when here in City Hall we have a department not equipped to handle the volume of issues that we have. This is why you're seeing salaries increase here, because we have to attract talent. We have to attract people who are willing to stay. We don't care where they come from. If they want to come here and work, we're qualifying them, we're paying them, and we're expecting them to work. We've been here 101, 102 days. Give me a little bit of grace, okay? Just a little bit. There will be a State of the City. That will be on May 1st. That will be held at Latham Hall, 10 a.m. It will be broadcasted live. It will be recorded and put on the site. What are you going to hear in the State of the City? You're going to hear three things, and there's only three things. What we're doing on a day-to-day basis to improve city government, what we're doing to correct some of the issues and problems that have been lingering for so long, and what the vision is for the city. That's all you need to hear about. What I'm going to stress, though, is that you're going to hear the state of the city and its current situation. That's really important. I don't care who it is. I've seen a lot of state of cities, state of the unions. They usually are talking about the vision. It's super important that you guys know what I have discovered in my 2 years as council and certainly in these first 100 days. Let's go through the list here. And I'm trying to go through them quickly. To Mr. Cotman, upset about me not being at Sun Village. I can't be everywhere at once. I was at 2 other Easter egg hunts and some other things. I did drive by. I did see the director of Parks and Rec and you side by side talking. Grass is not cut. I'll own that one, but I can't own Mother Nature. There's only one time I'm forgiving when it comes to grass being cut, and it's the first cut. We're getting around for the first time. The other thing is we don't get our temporary workers, our what do we call them? Seasonal workers until June 1st. So for those of you who want to comment about grass, start making comments after June 1st when we're fully loaded out here with people. Normally, we don't even do the first cut until May 1st. I don't know who was in the office on Saturday. It wasn't me. To Ms. Smith, you're right, that Keystone Bar with the street being blocked on Flower Street has gone on far too long. I ask about it often myself. I haven't gotten a good answer, but the Mother's Day Parade, it seems like I'm all over the place here. The Mother's Day Parade is going to go back on its old path from Memorial Park and then swing back down 3rd Street. And I said in no uncertain terms, that street better be opened by then. Repaving of streets, we're doing street surveys. You may have heard me talk about that before. I mean, I surely wish that our Public Works Department had milling and paving equipment. We don't. Just be patient. I mean, there's potholes all over the city. We have a bunch of coal patch. We go out. I think somebody talked about Perkins, Wayne. We put coal patch in. We don't even have a tamper. A tamper is that device that it's sort of like a jackhammer, but what it does is just pound the coal patch in. Mr. Shelton absolutely knows. Mr. Shelton, you ever have one under your chin to come up and hit you? Because that happened to me once upon a time. In the chest too, yeah, you gotta know how to work that thing. But you need a compressor also to hitch on to a back of a truck. We don't have a tamper, we don't have a compressor. Things that we're gonna get to, or equipment we should have, things we're gonna get in order to address that stuff. Mr. Shelton had some issues with parking handicap fees. That's what Councilman Davis is talking about. He was really light on the number of fees. I mean, there's pages and pages and pages and pages, and I can multiply that by 5 of fees that the city has to kind of check, recheck, make sure they're fair, right, up to date. Handicap just happened to be one of them because we know it's usually always on the agenda. Are the notices going out on time to the people who need to renew? I'm not quite sure, but if they're not, that means people aren't paying, and I think it also means, and this was your world, it also means that they're probably not having their spaces removed. Let me just keep rolling here.
But the notices are going out.
They are going out?
Yes.
Okay. Regarding the employees from the city of Chester, yeah, wouldn't it be great if every employee in City Hall hailed from the city of Chester? Yes, 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 absolutely. It's not going to happen. We got to find talent where we can get it. We are not disqualifying Chester people in lieu of other people. And if you look at the percentage of employees from the city of Chester overall, it's probably still well over 80%. Jim Allen, thank you so much for coming down from the Bureau of Elections. And please, 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 $150 a day is more than street money for people who work for candidates. So once you're qualified, you go every year, that job is yours. We absolutely need help at all our polling locations. Ms. Desiree, $10,000 and $20,000 scholarships, that just makes me smile, period. Mr. Nelson, some of the issues that you're talking about regarding tenant issues. Well, for all of you who have come and spoke with regard to the new, and new meaning mid-year 2023 ordinance that relates to the registration fee for rental units, it's here to stay. You can bet your bottom dollar on that. We were doing a horrible job here in City Hall of sending out reminder notices every year to landlords to pay the $150 inspection fees that was in place prior to this year. So I can understand where it's sticker shock when you do get that bill, especially if you have multiple properties and it's bumped up $50. Those of you with more tenants have to pay the bigger bill. You do have tenants. I know if any other costs that a landlord has to take on is passed on to landlords, I can only imagine that rent will be bumped up $10 a month. Well, not even $10 a month. If you used to pay $150 for an inspection every year, which most people weren't doing, and you're now required to spend or pay $200 a year, you know, you might be looking, what's $50 divided by 12, $3 more a month in rent, that should cover that fee. We keep going. Third. Flashing lights on 3rd and Flower, 291, the long lines of trucks on Flower between 2nd and 4th. That issue comes up to us on a regular basis. It's frustrating to hear it over and over and over again. Again, this falls into our street survey. We're going around the city, we're checking lights. I could tell you 3 or 4 lights around the city that just stay on, you know, stay red too long. That 291 on Flower, I mean, that Flower Street is a little crazy though. It shouldn't back up trucks for 3 or 4 blocks. And I know trucks go around. You know why I know? Because I go around. I mean, I just, when I see that light turn red, I'm going down 3rd, I'm going down another block. But for safety reasons, I would much rather you make a left or a right turn on 291 at Flower because there's a light there. It's one of the safest ways to get on and off. So I'm with all of you on that. I guess I got to put a little more oomph in getting that one looked at. Community service, to come out and do trash, we absolutely do have to kind of go out to the county and see if they can help us there. That's where that help came from. And we have Chester SCI over here, you know, they can do community service as well. I'm not sure if they're quite allowed to come out in the streets and do that work, but we have used them in the past to help clean up our parks, and I think that was suspended last year. We have to, and they loved it. They loved that work. Didn't they, Mark? I mean, they did a really good job out in Sun Village Park. And I've heard comments just recently from a Sun Village resident wondering where they were, because they did appreciate that dozen or so guys that would be vanned over from Chester SCI. They'd clean that portion around the old playground of Sun Village Park, and they liked coming outside. Calvin Church, let's see. Again, we're talking about the date. I'm sure that was an oversight by Miss Judy to schedule something on Election Day. So we'll make sure that date gets changed. Sound barriers between walls. I don't know the answer to that. I really don't. I don't know what the answer is there. All houses are constructed differently. The house I grew up in, I could literally talk to my bedroom mate on the other side of the wall anytime I wanted to, because the walls do not suppress sound. The house that I live in now is on a different block. I don't even know neighbors are over there. So a lot of it has to do with original construction, but to your point, it's renovation, and I'm going to find out what the answer is. I want to know myself. Bernadette, potholes, Perkins. Oh, I'm so glad the lights are up, finally, up there on your block. I thought we had to make another solution. Again, the landlord issue, Ms. Whitaker, the sump pump issue. I don't know why that's taken so long. It looks like the sump pump is installed improperly. I guess to your neighbor's credit, he has a sump pump, and we need a lot more of those in the city because I know there's tons of wet basements out here, but I'm not sure. I want to see if we have some kind of code, some kind of L&I, some kind of something as to how these things should be installed, how they should be draining. I would think they would go right out to the street and go into the storm drain, but if they're not, if they're coming out into the yards, that's not a good thing. Because we can't hear you. No. So you can talk to me afterwards. I'll stick around. Okay. And that's it. Anything from the rest of council?
Oh, Mr. Cotman, I'd just like to say that I'm sorry that I couldn't get around to the Sun Village Easter egg hunt, but Councilwoman Gibson and myself, we were preparing it that morning for the family who lost a little girl, and we prepared a luncheon for them, and other things were, you know, collected for the families. So we were there all day, most of the day with that, and then the mayor and other council members did stop by. By the time we were finished with that, I was able to go over to Memorial Park to catch the tail end of theirs, you know. But normally, I'm at Sun Village every year, so I have in the past spent a lot of time in Sun Village. So just to let you know, I would never neglect any community, you know. So, but that's what was going on that day, okay?
Thank you for that. I don't really feel as though we owe anybody apologies. If these events are for the kids, let the kids have their way, have their day, have a fun time. You know, unless, you know, we're scheduled to present or something along those lines. There are other obligations that mayor and council have. I didn't know I was expected to be there. If I was, I would have been there. But believe me, I was out all day around town and.
I'm sorry, I was informed that y'all was known that the word was passed on to y'all to be there. So if it's, that's what I was told by that department head, that y'all was informed that y'all would be there. That's why. So if y'all wasn't informed, then you know, that's what it is.
No, it's not even about that. If you need me to be where you have my number, let me know.
Well, I was told that they informed you on your
Okay,
right hand.
I get it. All right. This concludes this meeting. Thank you, guys. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for hanging out for 2 hours. Meeting adjourned. I lost again.
It's okay. It's a force of habit. Uh-huh.
Hi, big girl. I'm fine. How you doing?
There's so much other, so many other. Let's just focus on this.
I can't do it.
I feel much better.
The worst thing they do.
I probably would have never. Oh my God. Oh, wait a minute. Is this off?